Okay, welcome to session 6 of our Microsoft Excel series. I want to spend a very short period of time introducing you to the formula toolbar um, and the formula ribbon. Before I do that, though, I want to take just a quick minute to let you know that I am a assistive technology professional, not somebody who uses Excel um, for more advanced functions. I'm not a mathematician, I'm not a financial specialist, and if you need to use Excel for those things, um, you may wish to connect up with a specialist in those areas that can give you some more guidance on how to use Excel for uh, the operations that you will require. So just a heads up um, that this is going to be more of a how to use it with a screen reader thing, not necessarily a this is how you know, do an elaborate mathematical function with Excel. That's kind of not where I'm at. So that being said, let's go ahead and progress to going to the formulas toolbar. You're going to go to the formulas toolbar by doing an Alt M. As you probably are aware, the Alt F is already taken up by the file menu. So I'm going to do an Alt M to go to the formulas ribbon.
Ribbon tab
Okay.
control. Formulas tab selected Alt M.
Okay. Now I can either use a down arrow or a tab to go to the lower ribbon. It doesn't matter which one I do. I'm going to, when I hit the tab though, it's going to announce right away the group box or the actually it's not a group box, it's a button that you'll be on, and it'll give an explanation. These are like the tooltips or the help features that I have enabled in the screen reader. So depending on how you have your tutor messages set, your screen reader may or may not read all of the information it's going to read here. So just to let you know, if you need more or less information, think about resetting your tutor messages. So I'm going to go ahead and do a tab.
Function library grouping. Insert function. Button edit the formula in the current cell by choosing functions and editing the arguments. Press F1 for more help.
And then
Alt M F.
if you were to hit enter on this button, you would open a dialog box that would allow you access to a variety of different functions. And when it says arguments, it really means like how the cells interact with each other, if then statements, things like that, that you see in this sort of um, document. So these, again, maybe not the first thing you're going to want to look at if you're using it for very, very basic things. So I'm actually going to use my right arrow and move over to the next area, and this will be a split button. So when I get to these split buttons, and there's several of them in a row that each have are broken down into the different types of formulas that are in each one. And I'm just going to let you know in advance that I'm not going to go through every single formula and every single split button. We will be here all day. So I'm just going to kind of get you into the split button, maybe do the first couple, and then, if you listen and think maybe, hey, you want to check that out later, I would really encourage you to explore that independently. Remember, if I haven't broken the computer yet, if I haven't broken the screen reader yet, chances are you're not going to either. So I'm going to use my right arrow again.
Auto sum split button collapsed. Click here to display the result of a simple calculation, such as average or maximum value, after the selected cells. Sum button display the sum of the selected cells directly after the selected cells. Alt plus equals.
Now, just so you know, this will get you into an auto sum, and has more of the more basic calculations that your average Joe might use. So I'm going to go ahead and open it,
Sum display the sum of the selected
and
cells
then
directly after the selected cell.
I'm just going to make it be quiet for just a second, and I'm going to use my down arrow to show you the kinds of things that are in this group box.
Average Alt M U. Count numbers Alt M U. Max Alt M U. Min Alt M U. More functions Alt
Okay.
M U F.
So what it's doing is, after each one of these, um, it's giving me the tooltip of how to navigate there quickly. For example, I'm just going to go up.
Average Alt
Here we go.
M U A.
So if I want to do an Alt MUA, like in quick succession, that will enter um, the average formula into the active cell that I have selected, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. These are just some heads up formulas. So I'm going to go ahead and escape and get out of that.
Microsoft Excel.
And then I'm going to
Book
go to the
2.
right again.
Recently used browse and select from a list of recently used functions.
Again,
Press F1 for more help.
Pretty self-explanatory.
R.
Recent functions. So I'm going to use my enter.
Sum adds all the numbers. Average returns the average if checks whether a condition is met, and returns hyperlink creates a shortcut or jump that opens a document.
Again, just kind of arrowing through the kinds of things that you'll be coming across. So these again are maybe some of the more recently used formulas that maybe might be hard to find. If you're an Excel Power user, you are going to maybe use formulas that are more difficult to remember or to locate, and this allows you to access more recently used formulas. So I'm just going to hit escape again.
Microsoft Excel.
And move over again.
Financial browse and select from a list of financial functions.
Okay, financial functions are in the split box again. Enter to enter the split box.
Accrued returns the accrued interest for a security that pays periodic interest.
Now when it says financials, it's not kidding. It really has formulas for all sorts of different things that you can imagine. These are all, by the way, in alphabetical order from this point on. There, as you can hear, you've got the A's first. So
accrued returns the accrued interest for a security that amortized returns the prorated linear depreciation of an asset for each accounting period. Press F1 for more help.
So you can navigate down arrow by those things. And what's kind of an additional plus is if you have a Braille display, you will be reading what's in front of you. I'm going to go ahead and escape and go to the next.
Microsoft Excel. Logical browse and select from a list.
These are logical formulas that you could be using. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter there.
And checks whether all arguments are true and returns true if all arguments are true. Press F1 for more. False returns the logical value false.
Down arrow.
If checks whether a condition is met and returns one value
down
if
arrow,
true,
down.
and another if error returns value,
So,
if error if expression is an error, and the value of the expression itself other.
So this is like logic things like if something happens then this, if that, these kinds of things that you would use in Excel. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape again.
Microsoft Excel Book 2. Text browse and select from a list of text functions.
These are
Press
text
F1
functions.
for more help. Alt M.
They are not things like when you think about text functions. They are not things like that you would find in the home ribbon, like increasing and decreasing font. There's how the text within a formula goes. So let's go ahead and open that.
Dot text converts a number to text dot. Press F1 for more help. Char returns the character specified by the code number from the character set for your computer. Clean removes all non-printable characters from text. Press F1 for more help.
Again, these are going to be ones that you might want to explore independently. So again, escape.
Microsoft Date and Time browse and select from a list of date and time functions.
Now,
press F1 for.
Just as an FYI, again, date and time, it's going to be a function within Excel. You might want to even explore how it shows up in the cell once you have selected a date or time option. I'm going to hit enter real quick just to give you a heads up on what kinds of options there are in this menu.
Date returns the number that represents the date in Microsoft Excel date time code. The table converts a date in the form of text to a number that represents the date in Microsoft Excel date time code. Day returns the day of the month, a number from 1 to 31. Press F1 for more help.
So these are different options. Again, if you need to insert things in here, there's other ones. Just as a heads up, we will be going over formatting in another session that talks about how to make sure that items in a particular column or row show up the way you would prefer them to show up, and it's a formatting thing. This is more date and time formulas, not formatting. So that's a really important distinctions. I'm going to hit escape again.
Microsoft Lookup and Reference Browse, and select
Okay.
from a list of
Now, this is looking up and referencing other areas of Excel, like if you're in, for example, F6, and you want to reference data in a cell, A5, you would be able to do that. You would be able to link those two and cross-reference within the workbook, within the worksheet, and I believe even other files on your computer. I'm not even gonna open that because I really think that's more information than you need. But again, explore on your own.
Math and Trig Browse, and select from a list of math and trigonometry.
Now here's another one I'm not going to open because this is going to have a lot of your advanced functions in it, and I don't really want to overwhelm. But again, feel free to explore. So I'm going to go to the next one.
More functions browse, and select from a list of statistical, engineering, cube, information, and compatibility functions.
So this is even more. There's just a ton of this stuff. So actually I'm going to keep going over to my right.
Define names grouping. Name manager button create.
Yeah, don't worry about this one.
Use in formula. Choose a name used in this workbook and insert it into the current form. Create from selection.
So now,
button automatically generate names.
Now what I've done is now that I've moved into this other area, this is
formula audit and grouping. Remove arrows, split button, collapse.
Now do you hear it says grouping? So I'm going to actually go backwards.
Define names grouping.
It says define names grouping. Now that I'm in a grouping, those of you who are not familiar with the way ribbons are set up, if I'm in a particular grouping and not in a split box or not in anything like else, when my screen reader tells me I'm in a grouping, it means that I need to use my up and down arrows to navigate within that grouping.
Use in formula. Choose a name you define name split button collapse name cells so that you can refer to them in formulas by that name. For example,
that's kind of a nice option. I'm not going to lie to you. That's kind of cool. So if I know that my sales numbers are always going to be in a certain certain cell, I can refer to it by sales numbers as opposed to the cell number that it's in. But that's a whole other deal. So I'm going to move to my next group box with my right arrow.
Formula audit and grouping. Trace precedence button show arrows that indicate.
And remember, I'm going to want to use my up and down arrows to navigate within this grouping or group box.
Trace dependence button show remove arrows split. Trace dependent, trace precedence button ribbon tab function library grouping.
If you go up too far, I'm just telling you, you're going to go to back up to other ribbon options, which is what I had just done.
Auto sum split recent define use and create from select formula audit and grouping. Evaluate formula button show the evaluate formula dialog.
See, now I've just navigated back to my groupings with my right arrows again. By the way, if I want to go straight to my options, I'm just going to continue with tab.
Watch window button monitors the values of certain cells as changes are made to the sheet. The values are displayed in a separate window that remains visible, regardless of what area of the workbook is shown.
What's nice about this one is it will open a separate window to monitor values. That's the one thing about nice weather. You can hear the motorcycles really well. So anyway, now that we're in this section, I'm going to tell you that different areas of documents can be navigated with F6. So if you have this kind of a window open, you're easily able to get from the main workbook to that open window and be able to monitor those cell changes. So an F6 will take you to those open windows. So just as a FYI.
Calculation grouping. Calculation options specify when formulas are calculated. By default, anytime you change a value that affects other values, the new values are calculated immediately.
Right. This you can change, and I'm going to actually open it to show you how you can change it.
Automatic checked Alt, M,
so
X, A.
I prefer to have them checked automatically. Every time I make a change, I want the change to immediately appear, no matter what. But there are people that do not want that change to appear unless, I'm going to go down.
Automatic except for data tables Alt, M, manual Alt, M, X, M.
And that's only when you tell it, hey, change my formulas now. Most people prefer not to have that checked just because it's confusing, but they also might feel that it's confusing for the formulas to change automatically, for all the data to just change based on one number being moved. So it's kind of dependent on how you look at things and maybe what you're using Excel for, but it's a nice little option that you've got available.
Microsoft Excel Book 2.
Escape.
Calculate now button. Calculate
And
the
this
entire
is how
workbook now.
you would calculate the entire workbook if it was on manual. Okay, you would navigate to this button, or if I let it play out, it would tell you the shortcut that you would, the tooltip would tell you the shortcut that you could use.
Calculate sheet button. Calculate the current sheet now.
Okay, and now I'm at the end here. So that is our formulas toolbar, and I'm sorry that if this went a little on the long side, but you know, I felt some people might want to walk through of the basics, and as I've said quite often in this video, feel free to experiment. Play this video more than one time. Keep going. Keep playing with it. If I haven't broken it, you're not going to either. So, good luck to you. And after this video, we're going to move on to how to deal with some of the formatting things we've got going on. So, stay tuned.